Now, here's where we keeps most of the photographs, though there's these swords and these chests too.
He walked slowly along the narrow walkway that lined the two sides and the back wall of the museum, pointing at framed pictures and display cases as he went.
Here's a lovely set of oil paintings. Smugglers' ships be like these in the 18th century.
He coughed, holding on to the wooden banister for support.
And on this side we got artefacts from a couple of wrecks. The Amsterdam of 1749 and the Lady Anne. That was 1690, mind you. Straightforward shipwreck, not pirates that time.
Connie replied, without much enthusiasm. If her mum, Esther, wasn't such a pro at making her feel guilty, would she ever have agreed to come back to Magpie Cove? Even having lost her job, she'd resisted. But then her money had totally run out. She couldn't pay the rent on her flat anymore. And it was Magpie Cove or sleeping on friends' sofas, homeless. Even then, Connie had held back. There were things here she didn't want to remember. Yet Esther was relentless, seeing an opportunity to have her only daughter back home.
Your uncle can hardly stand, my love. We need someone to take over the museum. And I'm not as good as I was, neither, she'd said on the phone, adding a cough for theatrical effect. Connie snorted at the memory. Her mother was as strong as a cart horse. Still, Esther had been right about Uncle Bill. He turned to her, his white beard catching the light streaming through one of the grimy skylight windows on the roof. He was her mum's oldest brother, 63 to her mum's early 50s, and Connie could see a huge difference between them. Bill had always had a beard, and nowadays it was more Santa-like than ever, resting on his chest and curling around his ears. Yet last time Connie had been home, Bill had looked his usual hale and hearty self, with a broad chest and arms roped with muscle from years of taking the boat out, fighting with the Cornish tides. Yet now her uncle looked thin. Connie wondered when he'd last ventured out on the Pirate Queen, an ex-fishing boat he'd turned into a tourist attraction. "What is it, Uncle Bill?" Mum was a bit vague. Connie held out an arm for her uncle, and he took it gratefully. "I mean, you're past retirement age anyway, aren't you? You could have got someone in a while ago to take over." She steered Bill carefully back along the mezzanine, and they started slowly down the steps. "'Tis my heart, the doctor says. Plus, the rheumatics don't help," Bill wheezed. "Wants me to stop smoking a pipe as well. I smoked since I was in the Navy. Don't see why I have to stop now. Not done me any harm."
Connie raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Stubbornness ran in her family. You might as well tell Bill Christie to stop breathing as leave his pipe behind.
"Anyway, keeps me busy. I didn't want to retire. What was I going to do, sit about the house? At least here, if people comes in, I can be useful. Tell them about the history of the place."
The smell of her uncle's pipe smoke was intertwined in Connie's memory of childhood in Magpie Cove, along with her mum's Sunday roast, playing on the beach with her brothers as the sun set, and her dad calling them in, yelling that it was late, it was getting dark. Since she'd arrived back in the village the day before, she'd been assaulted by the sounds and smells of her childhood, like she was every time she visited. But this time it was different. This time she couldn't treat it as a brief trip down memory lane, or use it as an amusing anecdote to tell her friends in Plymouth. "Can you believe my mum still fries everything in lard? Her arteries must be like fire hoses. You know there's still only one pub in the village, right? And it doesn't even serve food." This time, she was here to stay. Connie felt the weight of what it meant to live in Magpie Cove, settling on her shoulders like a dusty woolen coat. If she lived here, it was different to being from here, which could be laughed away or even used as something amusing at dinner parties. She was the girl from the tiny coastal village whose uncle was a real-life fisherman, whose family had lived in the village since the Doomsday Book, who hadn't been on a plane until she was 20.